What happens when one careless post turns a marriage into a courtroom battle? I thought it was funny to upload a picture with another man and caption it "real man." My husband said nothing that night, but the next morning he gave me papers that changed everything. My name is Evadne Cole. I am 33 years old, and I thought one social media post could make me look powerful. I had been feeling ignored, like Caleb, my husband, didn't see me anymore. So when Tyler, a friend from the bar, leaned in close for a photo, I let him. I uploaded it that night, my arm around his shoulders, and I typed the caption, "Real man," with a wink. The likes came fast, the comments faster, some of them laughing, some of them clearly mocking Caleb. I told myself it was just a joke, harmless, nothing to take seriously. When Caleb saw it, he asked why I would post something like that. I told him he was insecure, that people knew it was just fun, that he should learn to laugh. He said nothing more and went to bed quietly, which I took as surrender. But the next morning, while I was still stretching and scrolling through my phone, he handed me an envelope. It was thick, official, and cold in my hands. That was the moment I realized his silence had not been weakness, it had been preparation. The night I posted the photo, I felt a rush of power. Tyler and I had been joking at the bar, and when he leaned in for a picture, I thought nothing of it. His arm was strong around my shoulders, his grin wide, and I typed the caption, "Real man," before hitting post. Within minutes, likes and comments poured in. Some laughed, others left little shocked emojis, and a few even tagged Caleb, which made me laugh harder. When I got home, Caleb was already sitting in the living room. He asked why I would post something like that. I told him he was being ridiculous, that it was just a joke, that people knew I was only having fun. He said it didn't look like fun, it looked like disrespect. I rolled my eyes and told him he always exaggerated, that he should be proud his wife was still admired. He grew quiet then, not arguing, just watching me. I mistook his silence for surrender and went to bed satisfied, convinced I had proven my point. But I didn't realize his calm was something else entirely, something deliberate. While I laughed at comments online, Caleb was already planning his answer. The next day, the whispers started. At work, 2 colleagues showed me the post on their phones, laughing awkwardly before changing the subject. At the grocery store, a neighbor gave me a tight smile and asked if Caleb was okay. I brushed it all off, insisting it was just a joke. That evening, I met my friends Cassie and Dana at a restaurant. I told them Caleb was overreacting, that he couldn't handle a little fun. Cassie laughed and said men were all too fragile, but Dana frowned. She asked if I realized how humiliating it looked for Caleb. I waved her off and said men should be proud if their wives were admired, that jealousy was a weakness. Cassie clapped and agreed, but Dana stayed quiet. Later, my brother Mark called. He didn't joke or laugh. He said straight out that I had crossed a line and that Caleb looked like a fool because of me. I snapped back that Mark was too serious, just like Caleb. He warned me that Caleb wasn't the type to yell. He was the type to act. His words unsettled me, but I shook them off. I told myself everyone was just being dramatic. That night, Caleb came home late, after the children were already asleep. I was sitting in the living room scrolling through my phone, still seeing the comments rolling in under the photo. Some people were laughing, others were clearly mocking him, but I told myself it didn't matter. When he walked in, he didn't greet me. He just set down his bag and looked around the room. I asked if he was still sulking about the post. He said quietly that it wasn't sulking, it was thinking. His calm voice annoyed me, so I tried to provoke him. I asked if he didn't like the idea of people knowing his wife was attractive, that other men noticed me. He said attraction wasn't the problem, respect was. I laughed and told him respect didn't mean anything if a marriage was boring. He didn't rise to the bait. Instead, he said, our children deserved parents who respected each other, because they noticed more than I thought. His words struck me, but I refused to show it. I accused him of trying to control me, of making me look like the villain when all I had done was enjoy myself. He didn't argue. He simply said he had heard enough and went upstairs to kiss Sophie and Liam goodnight while they slept. I stayed on the couch, furious that he had walked away from the fight. Later, when I went into the kitchen, I saw a folder on the counter he must have left behind. Out of curiosity, I opened it. Inside were printed screenshots of my post, some of the comments, and even notes scribbled in his handwriting. My stomach tightened, but I shut it quickly, telling myself it was nothing. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling his silence was building into something I couldn't control. A few days later, I went out with Cassie again, determined to prove I wasn't bothered. We stopped by the bar where Tyler worked, and of course, he made a show of greeting me. He leaned over the counter, calling me his favorite, and I laughed loudly so everyone could hear. Cassie joined in, but I noticed a couple from our neighborhood sitting nearby, watching with raised eyebrows. I told myself their stares didn't matter, but my chest tightened all the same. When I got home that night, Caleb was already there, helping Sophie with her homework. He didn't even look at me when I walked in. I tried to joke that Tyler was more fun than a pile of math problems. Caleb didn't smile. He simply told Sophie to get ready for bed, then followed her upstairs. I sat alone at the table, stung by his silence. Later, when he came back down, I confronted him. I accused him of making me look bad by refusing to defend me, by letting people think I was wrong. He said calmly that people thought what they saw, and I had given them enough to judge. His words cut deeper than I admitted. The next morning, while picking up laundry, I found a business card tucked into the pocket of his jacket. It was for a local law office, with dates and notes written on the back in his handwriting. My hands shook as I stared at it. I told myself it was just a threat, something to scare me into behaving, but deep down, I knew it was real. Caleb wasn't sulking anymore. He was preparing, and no matter how much I laughed with Tyler or told myself it was harmless, I could feel the ground shifting beneath me. The truth hit me at work when a man in a suit walked in and asked for me by name. He handed me a thick envelope, and my coworkers stared as I froze. Inside were divorce papers, filled with screenshots of my post, comments, and even notes from Sophie's teacher about her confusion at home. That night, I threw the envelope at Caleb and accused him of humiliating me. He said I had done that myself. I called him cruel, but he stayed calm, reminding me the court dates were already set. His silence was no bluff. It was final. The courthouse felt unreal, the walls echoing every word. Caleb sat beside his lawyer, calm and steady, while I stood alone. The judge reviewed the photos, my post, the witness notes, and the teacher's reports. I tried to laugh it off, saying it was harmless fun, but my voice sounded desperate. Caleb never raised his voice. He didn't need to. The judge ruled in his favor. Divorce granted, custody secured, finances protected. My hands shook as I signed the papers. Caleb signed with ease, then walked out without a glance. His silence carried more power than all my excuses. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next story. Write in the comments from which city you are watching.